Hey Bible lovers, I'm Tim Nichols. I'm here to bring you your Nichols Worth, and today from Thomas Nelson we have the KJV Center Column Reference Bible. Now you're going to notice this looks a lot like the one they just came out with the Apocrypha. That's because it's essentially the same block. I'll show you a couple little differences and then we'll kind of take it from there. So let's check it out. First of all, it does come in a nice little clamshell box. Really like those. Sometimes the clamshell boxes do tend to tear, but a box is really just designed to protect your Bible and transport anyway, so you're kind of done with it once you open it. So here is the one with the Apocrypha, and then here is the one without the Apocrypha. Both the same layout. It's kind of got that classic center column look. It has perimeter stitching. Really nice cowhide. I do like some of their previous cowhide a little bit better. This seems a little more shiny, and the grain seems to be a little more obviously stamped, but it is a pretty grain. It's definitely a pretty leather. So then when you get to the spine, of course you have 5 spine hubs encased with gold foil, Holy Bible, KJV, Thomas Nelson logo, really sharp, 2 ribbons. Excellent, double-sided, 1/8 inch satin ribbons, black and gold. Gilding looks good on this. Really like the way this is done. So they've been kind of diversifying their print. They used to just print in China, but now let's check this out. I'll let you see the liner in just a second, but I want to show you that they're moving their printing around and being a little more diverse, because this one here is printed in South Korea. So now let's take a look at the liner. This has a synthetic liner. I do wish that they do some more of their kind of in-between premium Bibles that are edge-lined, but really it's not going to be a lot of difference in quality because that liner is synthetic as well. So it is definitely tape reinforced, so that means that it's sort of kind of like edge lining. And with this synthetic liner, it's going to be stronger than paper, and you have that tape holding it together. That means this is going to be nice and secure. So now let's look at the text block itself. This is in a verse-by-verse format. It has a center column referencing system with notes. It is a 9.5 font. It doesn't have any accents as far as colors. This is just going to be straight black text until you get to the New Testament once it is a red letter. So now let's get to the same page on this Bible, page 156. And I will show you that this is the exact same layout except for one tiny little detail. So here you have it. We're in Leviticus chapter 24, and same layout, same paper. This is a 30 GSM paper. Really nice paper. It has kind of an airy feel to it, nice and fluffy, very easy to get a hold of the pages. It is very smooth, so it does make it kind of slippery, but there's no shininess to it. It's really nice. So now let's take a look at what makes this one different, is because this has the Apocrypha. The Apocrypha does not have any cross references. This one does not have the Apocrypha. So if you like this layout but you don't want the Apocrypha, then you have one right here without it that's the exact same layout. So now once we get into the poetic settings, you'll be able to see they don't look all too different in this kind of a format. You really can't tell the poetic settings from the regular settings because it is verse by verse and it's a justified text on both sides. So now let's move into the New Testament, give you a quick look at that, and you see that the words of Christ are in red. And I tell you, I know a lot of people don't like red letters. I know there's people that complain about it, but it seems to be from a marketing standpoint, more people do prefer red letters than not. And if you're going to do red letters, let's get them right. Thomas Nelson does get them right every time. I have no complaints. When you look at this one, the same. Their red letters are consistent across the board. They're not all over the map. They're not lighter and darker. They really do a good job making sure that that red letter print is absolutely consistent. Now, whenever there are too many cross references to fit in the center, what they will do is they will move them to the corner. Sometimes that's going to happen. And it does make those columns different length, but really it's not that big of a deal. Now, when you get into the back of this Bible, it's going to have some similar features that you see in the one that includes the Apocrypha. It's going to give you some articles between the Testaments, so it's going to kind of let you know what went on between the Old and New Testament in that 400-year gap, which the Apocrypha was written. Again, this one does not include the Apocrypha. This one does. I'll put both these in the video description so you can purchase whichever one you want, and I'll also go ahead and put this video on the end screen so that you can see that one. And then, once you get past the Between the Testaments, you have some reading plans, but before you do that, you have the history of the Red Letter Bible. So this is Thomas Nelson kind of explaining their commitment to red letter. Then you have some reading plans, getting to know Jesus, getting to know God the Father, and then ultimately some notes. After that, you've got your maps. Really nice. ISBN number on the back. I'm going to explain that real quick. All right. I complain about that all the time. I heard from the publisher, this is why they do that. If they print it on the liner, it costs them a separate run because there's no printing on the liner. So the only time they put the ISBN number on the liner is when there's already printing on the liner. So this is a cost-saving mechanism. So really nicely done. I really like this text block. I'm really happy to have it in the classic form, just like I have it in the New King James. I do a comparison between the New King James and the King James in the video on the Apocrypha that I'll put on the end screen over here, so make sure you check that out. God bless you. Keep calm. Jesus on. This is your Nicholas Worth.